Hello and welcome back to MonsterInvest. I'm your host, Daniel, and today we are diving deep into the wild, wild west of modern finance. We are stepping into the digital arena that has polarized the financial world, the digital gold rush that has created overnight millionaires, reshaped the global economy, and let's be honest, wiped out fortunes just as quickly. We are talking about cryptocurrency investing, the massive opportunities and the terrifying risks in this digital era. Now, before we get into the technical jargon, the candlestick charts, or the complex economic theories, I want to tell you a story. I want you to picture a guy named Alex. Alex is a 30-something software engineer. He's smart, he's tech-savvy, and back in 2017, during one of the biggest bull runs in history, the atmosphere was electric. He kept hearing his colleagues whisper about something called Ethereum and Bitcoin by the water cooler. At first, Alex was skeptical. He was a logical guy who believed in tangible assets. He thought, it's magic internet money, it's not real. It's a bubble waiting to pop. But then he saw the price jump, and then it jumped again and again. He watched people on social media posting pictures of new watches, exotic vacations in Bali, and screenshots of their portfolios that had doubled in a week. It wasn't just strangers, it was his college friends, his neighbors, people he considered less intelligent than himself making a killing. The narrative shifted from this is a scam to this is the new paradigm, and Alex felt his resistance crumbling. The fear of missing out, or FOMO, kicked in hard. It was a visceral feeling, a knot in his stomach telling him he was being left behind while everyone else was getting rich without effort. He felt like he was standing on the freezing platform watching the luxury train leave the station. So against his better judgment and abandoning his usual prudence, Alex took $5,000 from his savings, money he had painstakingly set aside for a down payment on a new car, and he went all in. He didn't research the technology, he didn't read the white papers or understand the utility. He just bought what was trending on Twitter and what the loudest influencers were shouting about. For the first few months, Alex felt like a financial genius. He checked his portfolio app every morning before he even brushed his teeth, and seeing those green numbers gave him a dopamine hit like nothing else. His 5,000 turned into 10, then 15. He was walking on air. He was already planning which color Tesla he was going to buy and looking up real estate prices. He started telling his friends at dinner parties, "You guys just don't understand the blockchain. This is the future paradigm shift," repeating buzzwords he didn't fully understand himself to sound sophisticated. He began to look down on traditional investments like stocks or bonds as boomer tech. But then the winter came, the market turned. It wasn't a slow, graceful decline, it was a violent crash. In a span of a few weeks, the charts bled red, panic set in across the globe, news outlets started running headlines about the death of crypto. Alex didn't sell because he was convinced it would bounce back immediately. He was in denial, he told himself, it's just a healthy correction. Weak hands are selling, the institutions are just shaking us out. He watched his 15,000 shrink back down to 5, then down to 2,000, and finally it hovered around $1,200. He was devastated, he felt foolish and betrayed. The dreams of the Tesla evaporated, replaced by the harsh reality of lost savings. He stopped checking the app because it physically hurt to look at the screen. He stopped talking about crypto to his friends because he was afraid of the "I told you so" looks. He had bought the top, driven by greed, and ridden it all the way to the bottom, paralyzed by fear. Now pause for a second. Is Alex's story a tragedy, or is it a lesson? Because this is where most people quit. They sell at a huge loss, call the entire industry a scam, delete their apps, and walk away bitter, blaming the market for their mistakes rather than their own lack of strategy. But let's fast forward to today. Alex didn't sell at the bottom. Instead, he did something crucial. He started reading. He stopped treating it like a lottery ticket or a casino game and started treating it like a serious asset class. He learned about market cycles, how markets breathe in with euphoria and breathe out with despair. He learned about utility, what these coins actually do besides being traded. He learned the difference between price and value. He realized that buying when everyone is fearful is often better than buying when everyone is greedy. And eventually, the market recovered, as it historically does. Alex is doing fine now, but he's a different kind of investor. He's no longer a gambler chasing green candles. He's a strategist building a portfolio. This story highlights exactly what we are facing in the crypto market. The duality of extreme opportunity and extreme risk. It is a space where high intellect meets raw emotion, and where fortunes are made or lost based on which one is in the driver's seat. Let's talk about the opportunities first. Why are huge institutions, major banks, and maybe even your conservative neighbor investing in this? The biggest opportunity isn't just number go up, it's innovation. We are looking at a fundamental shift in how we transfer value, similar to how the internet shifted how we transfer information. First, there is decentralized finance, or DeFi. This is perhaps the most disruptive application. Think about the traditional banking system. You put money in a savings account, the bank pays you a measly 0.5% interest. They then take your money, lend it out for mortgages or business loans at 5% or more, and keep the massive profit to pay for their skyscrapers and executive bonuses. In DeFi, you cut out the middleman entirely. You can lend your assets directly to others via smart contracts, which are just pieces of code that automatically execute transactions and earn yields that traditional banks can't touch. You essentially become the bank. It's about democratizing access to financial services, allowing anyone with an internet connection to participate in the global economy. Then there's the concept of tokenization. We are moving toward a world where real-world assets, real estate, art, commodities, even intellectual property, can be represented on a blockchain. Imagine owning a fraction of a luxury apartment in New York or a rare Picasso painting, traded as easily as sending an email. This creates liquidity for assets that were previously illiquid. It means you don't need millions to invest in high-value assets anymore. You can own a $100 share of a commercial building and receive rent dividends directly to your digital wallet. And of course, there is the potential for asymmetric returns. In the traditional stock market, a 10% return in a year is considered great. It beats inflation. In crypto, you might see that in an hour. For early adopters who identify projects with real-world utility, like supply chain tracking, cross-border payments that settle in seconds rather than days, or decentralized identity solutions, the growth potential is unlike anything we've seen since the early internet boom of the 90s. It represents a chance for generational wealth creation for those who can navigate the volatility. This is a massive, but we have to talk about the risks, and I'm not just talking about the price dropping. The dangers here are multi-layered and sophisticated. The first major risk is volatility. You need a stomach of steel. If you lose sleep because your portfolio dropped 20 or 30% overnight, this might not be the asset class for you. Crypto markets never sleep. They are open 24/7, 365 days a year. The psychological toll of constant price action can be exhausting. You can go to bed rich and wake up poor if a major piece of bad news hits while you are sleeping. This volatility is driven by the relatively small size of the market compared to traditional assets, meaning whales, individuals holding large amounts, can swing prices significantly. Then there is the regulatory risk. Governments around the world are still figuring out the rules. The landscape is fragmented. One announcement from the SEC in the US or a ban on mining from a major country like China can send prices tumbling in minutes. Tax laws are also evolving, and failing to keep up can lead to serious legal headaches down the road. You have to be aware that the rules of the game can change while you are playing it. We are seeing a battle between the desire for innovation and the need for control. And we cannot ignore security and scams. In the traditional banking world, if someone hacks your credit card, the bank usually fixes it. They have insurance and fraud protection. In crypto, there is no undo button. If you lose your private keys, your password essentially, or if you send money to the wrong address, that money is gone, forever. Furthermore, the space is rife with bad actors. There are rug pulls, where developers hype a project, collect millions from investors, and then vanish with the funds. There are phishing scams, where fake websites trick you into connecting your wallet. There is no customer support hotline for Bitcoin. You are your own bank, which means you are also your own security guard, IT department, and vault manager. You have to understand how to store your assets safely, perhaps using a hardware wallet, which keeps your keys offline. So knowing all this, how do you navigate this landscape? How do you be more like the mature Alex and less like the FOMO Alex? It comes down to 3 pillars: education, diversification, and time horizon. First, education. Don't invest in things you don't understand. Read the white paper, which is the document explaining the project's purpose and technology. Understand the problem they are solving. Look at the team behind the project. Are they anonymous or do they have a track record? Check the community sentiment, but be wary of echo chambers. If you can't explain why a token has value to a 5-year-old, you probably shouldn't buy it. Don't just follow influencers who might be paid to promote a coin. Verify everything yourself. Don't trust, verify. Second, diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one digital basket. And certainly, don't put all your net worth into crypto. It should be a part of a balanced portfolio, alongside stocks, bonds, and cash. Within crypto, don't just buy the riskiest meme coins that have a dog on them. Balance it with established blue-chip assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum. This cushions the blow if one project fails. And most importantly, time horizon. Think in years, not weeks. The day-to-day noise is a distraction. If you believe in the technology, short-term price drops are just noise. A great strategy here is dollar cost averaging, buying a fixed amount regularly, say $100 every month, regardless of the price. This takes the emotion out of timing the market. You buy more when it's cheap and less when it's expensive, averaging out your cost over time. This discipline is what separates the winners from the losers. Before we wrap up, I want to give you a quick summary of what we've covered today, just so you can take this away with you. First, cryptocurrency offers unprecedented opportunities through decentralization, DeFi, and high growth potential, essentially democratizing finance and creating new ways to own value and participate in a global economy. Second, these opportunities come with significant risks, primarily extreme volatility, regulatory uncertainty, and severe security threats where you are solely responsible for the safety of your assets. And finally, the key to surviving and thriving is moving from a gambling mindset to an investing mindset, doing your rigorous research, managing your risk through diversification, and staying patient with a long-term view. If you treat this space with respect and caution, it can be a powerful tool for building wealth. If you treat it like a casino, the house will eventually win. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Monster Invest. I hope this gave you some clarity in the chaotic world of digital assets. If you found value in this episode, please do me a huge favor. Hit that like button to help the algorithm find more people like you. Share this with a friend who might be thinking about buying their first coin. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update on the financial world. I'm Daniel, and until next time, invest smart and stay safe.